I gave this thing my email, my Slack, and my task board. 20 minutes later, it had read my overnight mail, found the 3 messages that actually needed a human, and ignored the rest. It wasn't told to do that on a schedule. It wrote the schedule itself. This is Grokbot. Here's everything it did, including the part where it broke. Grokbot is a desktop app from xAI, and the thing to understand up front is that it isn't one assistant. It's a list of bots. Each one is its own chat, with its own tools, its own memory, and its own schedule. This is the first bot I made. I called it Night Shift, and the only instruction it got was to have a digest waiting for me in the morning. Watch what it does with that. It works out which tools it needs, then puts the sign-in right in the chat. You click Authorize, the browser round trips, and the card flips to Added. Click up 58 tools, Slack 19. And when it needs a decision from you, it doesn't write a paragraph asking for one. It renders a multiple choice card. That's the whole interaction model. It asks narrow questions and keeps moving. Then this appeared on its own. Created routine, morning digest. Open it and you get the actual object, the instruction it wrote for itself when it fires. Weekdays at 7, a test run button, and a run history. This is the difference between a chatbot and something that works while you're asleep. It scheduled itself. The first digest comes back with 3 overdue tasks and a note that Slack was quiet overnight. So I click through to check. Real tasks, real due dates in the real workspace. It isn't describing my board from memory. It's reading it. And this is the moment it earned its keep. 3 unread threads that actually need a reply. A receipt request, a payment that needs crediting, a client who can't find her link. Then it tells me there's also a pile of receipts and notifications it's leaving out unless I want the noise. Nobody asked it to filter. That judgment is the product. The tools come from a plugin marketplace, sorted by category. Orchestration, data, payments, productivity, sales. 14 were already installed here. But you're not stuck with the catalog. Anything that speaks MCP can be added. I pointed it at a hosted MCP server, authorized it, and it showed up as a first-class connector with its own tools and its own account status. That's the ceiling on this app being much higher than it first looks. Second bot, blank slate, and instead of a clean scripted prompt, I gave it the messy version, the real one. Take over my automation build. Watch Slack for requests aimed at me. Here's the spreadsheet with everything that's already running. Learn how I work this week and eventually run this side of the company. It goes quiet, and then this shows up on the right, its own screen. The bot gets a computer. Then it renames itself Apex OS because I never gave it a name and it decided it needed one. Give it a minute with the spreadsheet and it comes back with an audit I would have paid a consultant for. It names all 8 departments. It identifies the CRM as the spine. And then it catches that the document still describes one automation tool, while a completely different one is actually running the pipes. A stale detail in my own file that I'd stopped noticing. It also flags its own limits without being asked. It's on the company login, not mine, so it can't see my DMs. And one of my core tools has no connector at all, so it says it'll drive that one through a browser instead. Knowing what it can't reach is more useful than pretending. So I tell it how the work actually flows, which channels carry requests, which one is just sales alerts, and that everything lands in the CRM first, then the task board, then Slack. And it turns that into 2 routines. One watches the request channels live, one sweeps for problems every 30 minutes. Read the instruction it wrote and you'll find the part I like most. For the sales channel, only interrupt me if fulfillment didn't fire or a client looks at risk. Otherwise, stay quiet. It wrote its own noise policy. Over in the real workspace, the agent is now a member. You can see it being added to each channel. Private ones stay dark until you invite it, which is the correct default. One quirk worth naming, in Slack it doesn't show up under the bot's name. It appears under the name of the underlying agent product. If you're rolling this out to a team, tell them that first or you'll get questions. It reports that 5 of my queues never made it into the task board. That's true, but it's not a problem. It's deliberate. So I tell it so. And it takes the correction cleanly. That's on purpose, not a missing queue. No argument, no re-explaining itself. It just updates the map and moves on. Then it does the thing that makes this feel different. It opens a browser on its own machine and signs into the company account itself. When a tool has no connector, it just uses the tool the way a person would. I renamed it Auto, gave it a title and a description of what it owns, and at that point, it stopped feeling like a chat window and started feeling like a hire. Now the honest part, because every tool demo skips this one. I asked it to pull my newest merge requests. It added the connector, walked me through the sign-in, and the connector then returned to 404 and never loaded a single tool. What I'd call good behavior is what happened next. It didn't pretend. It told me plainly that the connector was broken, confirmed the service itself was up, and then said the 7 a.m. digest would still run on the tools that do work. And then it routed around the failure. It couldn't use the connector, so it read the merge requests out of the browser session it was already signed into. Broken tool, job still done. By the end, it was doing the actual job. 2 open requests with nobody on them, cross-checked against the CRM and the task board, with a recommendation for each. And then it asks whether I want to reply or whether I'd rather handle it so it can watch how I do it. I checked both against the CRM and the live site. It was right about both. So, first impressions. The connectors are uneven and one of them was flatly broken. It's early, but the model underneath it is the right one. Bots instead of one assistant. Schedules it writes itself. A browser for everything that has no API. And a bias towards staying quiet unless something actually needs you. I told it my team's hours were over. It said it would hold the request until morning rather than ping someone who's off. And then it told me to go home, and that it would keep an eye on the channels. I've been testing agents for a while. That's the first one that ended the day like a coworker.